coming for another episode of the Horror Podcast. Ha ha ha, gotcha. Everything Horror is back. My name is Paul with
Tessa Baker.
And we are here to talk to you about a very interesting movie. It is also by the writer and director that we talked about last time with the original versus remake. It's Pascal. I forgot how to even pronounce his last name, but Pascal. If you know who I mean by the French martyr writer and director. Also, he wrote, and I'm pretty sure directed, Incident in a Ghostland. Then you know who I'm talking about, because he also wrote and, I believe, helped film a little bit of this film that we're going to be talking about, called The Tall Man. Because it was co-produced. It was like a collaboration between the French and him with the, I want to say, French Canadians in Canada. So once again, Canada, thank you for the, amazing movie as well. Because, what does this sort of remind you of, Tessa?
Missing 411.
That's right. And with that being said, is the children going missing? Yeah, I know his last name. I just don't know how you pronounce it. I think
it's Lafayette or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
Lafayette.
French,
Lafayette.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway,
so the missing 411, who, now I just lost my train of thought of that guy's name now. The guy who does Missing 411. Son of a bitch.
Hold on, let me look.
Anyway, while she found the name, because it was just in my head, and then because she was trying to
help.
Show me with Pascal's last name, it went over my head. But David,
David
Paulides. David Paulides is known for the Missing 411. He had 8 or 9 books. He had 2 movies or documentaries based on his work.
Missing 411 and Missing 411 The Hunted.
Yes. And The Hunted is basically on hunters that go missing. But we want to talk about the original one, which is focusing on kids. Because with The Tall Man, the way The Tall Man starts is kind of like in the same boat of how Missing 411 plays out. It's like, hey, every year, 8,000 kids just vanish without a trace, never to be seen again. Where 1 minute you could be looking at your kid and then you could look away for 2 seconds and then boom, gone within a thin of air, never to be seen or heard from again. So, at first hearing that, I'm like, I wonder what this could really play out to be. So, unfortunately, we might have to go into spoiler territory here, because it's going to be really hard to talk about this movie without really going into what this whole idea of The Tall Man is supposed to represent as a whole film. And we'll get into that later, because we got 3 perfect examples of people who watched The Tall Man that clearly watched a whole nother film and not The Tall Man itself, right?
Right.
So anyway, without further ado, let's get on with this. So, here we are with this lady who is very friendly with the town folks. Everybody knows her because she all goes into the specific cafe or diner, and she's also a nurse. And her husband is very well known too.
Because he was a doctor.
Because he was also a doctor. And he helped the community of this place. Unfortunately, I forgot the town right now. It's like Rockville or Rocky Town or something like that. But Not really too much important unless Tessa finds it, but it's okay. But anyway, the idea of this is that basically this small town knows everybody is what I'm trying to point out here. And at one point, you know, we get this weird thing going on where some people are talking about this tall man. Some people have claimed, like, they've seen him, like this one Pacific child, or teenager, I should say, right about now, in the film, who really doesn't speak a lot, but they're trying to get to the bottom of it. But as we all know, it gets really more interesting because, well, if you're used to, like, Pascal's films with, like, Martyrs, and especially, like, Incident in a Ghostland, you know you are ready to bite
Cold Rock.
Cold Rock. So, it's based in Cold Rock. Thank you, Tessa.
You're welcome.
So, here we got the main protagonist, who was played by Jessica Biel, and she is unfortunately no longer with her husband. Something happened so that the husband is no longer in town anymore.
He's gone.
He's gone.
We
don't know if he vanished or
what happened to him
what
exactly.
happened. Doesn't really say at first. Now, as the story progresses, we start to learn more about what this tall man is. It's almost like a boogeyman. And he will kind of be working in the kid's closet or somewhere dark and just wait for the perfect timing to take your kid.
Sometimes just sneaks into your house unsuspectedly.
Yep. And you just might not even know until the next day that your child is gone. So, here we are. We all already witnessed, I believe, at this time, a child went missing. And the protagonist is trying to con the person. And because she's like a good-hearted soul, she tried to offer this one particular lady whose child was abducted by supposedly this tall man, because that's the nickname or the name that the town gave.
Yeah, the townsfolk gave him.
So she trying to offer this nice lady who went through this child abduction already, never to see her kid again, some hot coffee, because the town folk looked like nobody really gives a rat's ass about her, sort of deal. Because she almost looks like she's so broken that she's homeless.
Yeah, she looks like a homeless woman.
And as we play out in this movie, you know, I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, this does not feel like a Pascal film. Where is the twist? And I'm going to stop right here and say, unfortunately, if you have not seen the movie, this is the time where you need to stop listening and maybe go check it out. Because you can find it, as far as I know, 3 places. You can find it right now, available for free on Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Tubi. The Tubi TV. So quickly go watch it and then come back. So without further ado, Tessa, let's get your input. What is this twist that I'm talking about, where we're finally like, wait, what the hell? Like, what's going? Why this twist? And I mean, you can just start by, well, what led up to this twist, if you remember.
What led up to this twist is Jessica Biel's character is looking for her son, in quotation marks, and she goes to like this abandoned building searching for him, and the kid who's supposed to be her son acts afraid of her and doesn't want her to touch him and stuff like that. And the the woman that that Paul was describing that looked like the homeless woman earlier in the film that lost her child is actually the person that is parading around in the town appearing to be the tall man or a version of the tall man, and reveals herself to Jessica Biel's character. And the little boy David is actually the homeless woman's son, and he was basically brainwashed into believing that he was Jessica Biel's character's son. So when the mother, gets through to her son and everything, so he appears to be afraid of Jessica Biel's character. And so she goes, you kidnapped my son, you took him away from me, you brainwashed him into thinking that he was yours and he's mine, blah, 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 you're a horrible person. And at some point they run into like a scuffle. She knocks out the mother, takes David. No, David goes running to Jenny. Runs into Jenny, the character. And Jenny, befriends the little boy into thinking, oh, it's okay, and blah, blah, blah. And then gives David to Jessica's character, and they go running off with him. And the kid's having, this major freak out. So the twist of this movie is that Jessica's character is actually the one of the ones taking the children.
No. I'm talking what happened within the diner.
Oh.
But since you started to go that direction, please finish what you were saying.
So I didn't realize that Paul wanted me to go to the diner aspect of it.
I thought I said what happened that went to the diner, but maybe I wasn't clarifying. It's okay. Like I said, this is the spoiler section right now.
So basically, I'll back up. Jessica's character goes to the diner after she's picked up by one of the FBI agents, I'm going to say. Takes her to the diner. One of the waitresses comes out to greet her, brings her in. It's okay, sweetie. When you gather yourself, go in the back and change. Blah, blah, blah. There's a change of clothes back there. She goes back there to change and clean up and notices in the back room that there is an altar. And on the altar is a picture of David already there. Which is kind of ironic.
And suspicious.
Suspicious at the same time, considering the fact that David
just got taken.
Just got taken. So it's it kind of makes you think so what's going on here that David's picture's already on this altar and he just got taken?
And not just that, but we get this weird... I don't even know what to call it. We get these weird scenes when Jessica's character goes in the back anyway, because now the townsfolk that are in this diner that is clearly late, and some of these people actually abuse other people that have kids, but we'll get to that in a minute. But so we get these people almost preparing themselves to have Jessica's character just walk out from the back room, almost I don't know, they're ready to
interrogate her or string her up or something. The waitress lady's just sit down, don't act so suspicious, blah, blah, blah. And, a couple of the guys are wanting to go in the back and grab her. And then they're waiting, and then she doesn't come.
So that's when few of them go in the back to realize, hey, she escaped. She's seen the altar.
Yeah, she's already gone.
So they already know something's up. We don't. As the viewer at this time, we don't. So now, the only thing that we know is that this town is involved with whatever is going on. So is involved with the, quote, tall man as we think.
Yeah, and has something to do with David's abduction or the whereabouts.
Or any of the missing kids, really.
Yeah, because there's a full altar of a bunch of missing kids.
And everything, yep. Yeah. But,
So basically they discover that she's escaped out the back door of the diner. So they all rally, go grab their guns, like a bunch of redneck idiots. Sorry, not sorry, but that's the only way I can describe it.
Well, in this case, yeah. I mean, just look at the town, look at everything. It's just, and especially with the way some of these abusive characters are, because let's go into that for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I want to kind of jump into the 1-star reviews of the idiots that possibly seen this other film and not the Tall Man film. So, real quick, let's go into this. So, there was one character, I just forget his name right now, who was in the diner, but he is a dickwad. He is the most abusive son of a bitch you could ever meet in a mobile home area.
Here, let me help you.
And Tessa, I think, knows who I'm talking about already, but anyway, we're just... Steven. Who... What was it? He beat the shit out of the mother of his child, but yet, when the mother was trying to tell her daughter to take herself and the kid and get out of there to go up to somewhere else because of the abusive relationship, it was almost like it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when we realize, that kid got taken. So, once again, here's an example of a 1-star review, real quick to sum it up. So, somebody thought that this was a horrible thought that the poor don't deserve children, or that their children would rather leave their own parents to be rich with strangers. Whoever wrote this, you suck, and your idea isn't based in reality, because the truth is there are tons of children in need of an adoption that aren't babies and nobody wants them. They bounce around in the foster system because there are no rich people looking for elementary school and middle school age children and emotional baggage. You suck for planting this rap seed into children's minds that the grass is greener if they had rich parents. Being happy is not about money. There are lots of rich kids on drugs and just as screwed up in every way. That's just another one. Another one is trying to say, like, okay, so I guess it's okay to steal poor white trash children and turn them over to upper class families willing to partake in collusion of the crime. That's absurd. There's another one where, like, they're just talking about how, they should just cut half of the movie out, and that's basically what the movie is. Okay.
But I'll jump in and talk about somebody who actually gets it afterwards, but I'll let Paul say what he's going to say.
Okay. So, really, what I want to say from this point in time is if we really look at the movie from the beginning of what we were mentioning here. So, let's go back a little bit, alright? So, we talked about how Jessica's character is a nurse. We talked about how, at the time, her husband, who was still around, we don't know what happened to him and stuff, was also a doctor, kept the community alive and well.
Took care of the community until his end.
Whatever that means. Which we'll get into that, too. Because, like I said, it's all spoiler. But we feel like this is one of those episodes where it makes a lot more sense to talk about it. Because it's very important of the message. We understood it completely. We thought it was a great message, really. But like, you know, it's one of those things where you need to look at it from certain direction. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to say. And that is, so Jessica's character, before we even know what the hell is going on, you got to think of it like this. She's a nurse. She helps people. Her son David, at the time, before we knew he was brainwashed, was having what, Tessa? A really good time with his wife, right? And Jessica's not that rich, you know?
Yeah, Julia.
Yeah, Julia is not that rich. She's like a normal, average person with a great job, a great household, trying to make the best of David's life at the time.
She appears to be, you know, at first glance the picture-perfect mom. She plays with David. They do, like, make-believe stuff together, play games, all sorts of stuff.
Shows him love, everything else.
Shows him attention, takes care of him, you know, like any mother would.
And then you got the other story, which is Jessica's character helped this other family who gets abused by
Steven.
By Steven. And who Steven is
a piece of shit.
A piece of shit who is in this relationship with this mother-daughter who knocked her up.
Mother's sister
Who knocked her up, or he knocked up, had a child with, but was abusing everybody. Was in a shitty relationship, a broken family, where all the kid knew was abuse, and was getting the abuse from Steven himself.
And he was also an alcoholic,
He was also an alcoholic, and the mother wasn't the greatest either.
Yeah, she had a drinking problem too.
She had a problem. She was letting the abuse from Steven happen, and the mother, the other sister was letting it all happen around too. Wasn't even doing anything. She tried. We will say this. She tried, but unfortunately,
she allowed the abuse to continue. She didn't kick him out. She didn't do anything about it. She allowed him to father the child of her sister.
Which that would once again a bad idea. So when you take something like that, and plus we got another kid, Jenny, that was the other sister's daughter, the one that didn't get knocked up, but like it was the other sister. So we had like two families going on here. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
Tracy.
So Jenny was Tracy's daughter.
And then Christine was her sister that got knocked up by Steven.
And there you go. So right there is two broken homes. Why? Well, Tracy stopped showing any type of signs of love to Jenny. Jenny noticed it. That's why she kind of sort of stopped talking, as we see in the movie. She started to...
She writes in her journal, does everything in her journal.
Does not really speak, just does everything. Draws, speaks in her journal, whatever. And that's her way of communicating. Because she lost connection of a lovable, non-broken family. And that's what was going on with her life. Same with Jenny and Steven, where they had a broken home with a broken family as well, with a kid who was also, like I said, getting abused with the fact that she was in an abusive family household. And the only way was that if nobody wanted to do anything about it, and they were scared to do something about it, something had to be done, and that's where the tall man comes into play.
Well, Tracy did try to do something about it. She's tried to send Christine and the baby, Steven's baby, away to her sisters.
Right,
in Seattle, I think.
Yeah, but something happened so that...
Steven threw a fit, at Tracy one night in one of his drunken, furious rages and started to beat the crap out of her. Beating on her and stuff and saying, bring her back, blah, 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 blah. Bring her and the baby back and all this other shit.
So, basically, the idea is that, okay, so the point of this movie is, well, I don't know. I mean, did you want me to say it now, or did you want to go into what you wanted to state from that one thing that somebody actually got?
Somebody, in one of the reviews for, on
The Tall Man.
On The Tall Man, somebody besides us actually gets the movie.
What, is the Psycho is real one?
Yeah.
Alright.
So I'll basically try to cut it down as much as I can because it's basically a book. But I'll just basically read some of it. And this person says, and I quote, when you see this cycle time and time again as part of daily life, you see a movie like this and know the cycle is real and find it uplifting in someone's vision that a child's access to the world, to knowledge, to love, to compassion, and to a greater existence is outweighed by the greediness of the parent's love when it is so twisted that it creates a cycle of despair. I guess I come into this movie seeing parents who smoke meth while their children are in the next room, causing horrible damage to the children's neurological functioning and hence their cognitive skills. I guess I've also read that this reports at sentencing of adults caught up in stealing, doing drugs, living in poverty, who have had horrible upbringings including rape by adults, exposed to homelessness and violence. I've seen them turn to drugs for escape and have their children of their own who are taken away and given back to the addiction of ebbs and flows. I guess I see this movie and think, wow, it would never work in real life, but if kids could gain access to a better world, if we thought of them more, maybe a movie like this would be a key. That's not saying children shouldn't grow up in poverty. I grew up in poverty and went to a school and have a high degree in education. But it makes me think of the people caught up in the cycle. It makes me think of the ones caught up with no way out. The little girl at the end, her hope. It was nice seeing this in the movie, and that's why I liked it. It presented a world where the cycle is finally broken.
Yes. So really, when you watch this movie, what the reality check is, Jessica is, in fact, behind it all. Even though she looked like a good nurse and stuff, she was literally helping those around her that were being abused, not in a good home, need to be taken out and better.
Basically, she
better yet to start over.
She was basically trying to take these children and give them a second chance at life, a better chance.
Not become addict, not become
broken like their parents.
And to go back to that one star where they're saying the poor family deserved a kid. Okay, once again from what Tessa just said. Tessa's reviewer said he came from poverty, and look what happened. He had a high education, but he still thinks about the other people that did not get that kind of chance. And
that were in worse circumstances than himself.
And yeah, exactly. That were in worse circumstances than himself. That's what this movie is about. This is what this movie is trying to say. It's not trying to say that poor people don't deserve their kids.
There's certain people out there that don't deserve to have children because of how they treat them. That's what the message of the movie is because there's these people out here, like my reviewer said in their little paragraphs, that kids should not be in broken, neglectful homes where there's rape and there's abuse and there's drugs and all this stuff. Kids don't deserve to grow up around that.
They don't deserve to be homeless.
And they don't deserve to be homeless or made to feel like they have no one.
Or they don't feel wanted, loved.
Yeah. Like, they deserve a home, where they feel loved, where they feel valued,
where they're going to learn the skills that they need.
And to grow as
a whole, as a person.
Yeah, to grow as a person. And have, a better outlook on life than something dismal.
Where, as the guy or the person put it, the cycle repeats itself. So, think about it like this. It's a broken family repeats itself. That child is going to only know a broken home. And that's going to repeat. That's why
it's going to become a learned pattern.
It's going to be the only pattern they know. And when there you get kids, it's going to be by some jack-off who probably raped the person or something, and just not a happy ending. It's just not a happy ending. While we're trying to say, look, these people, the movie probably did kind of say the rich, but we don't see, technically we do. So these people who, did the 1-star reviews, they completely spaced on the fact that all the other kids that were taken are still fucking alive. Like, look at the very end when we see Jenny. When she goes to school, we see the other boy that was taken.
And other kids.
As they walk up to their new family from school.
And not only that, with Jenny's character in the end, she's speaking, she's learning things, she's artistic, she's
so much more than what she was.
So much more growth. She's become so much more as a person.
That's why this movie is so fucking strong.
It's a powerful, powerful message.
Very powerful. And for those that want to start this movie, shame on fucking you for not paying attention
to the actual message of the...
And understanding that these other 6 kids are actually still alive.
And I'm also going to add to this. Jenny, once she found out how Julia's character played along with the tall man or whatever, she begged to be taken by the tall man. She begged to be taken from her broken home and taken somewhere else. She begged for it.
And I think
it's what she wanted.
And then I think the most interesting quote to that, to Jessica, what Jessica said to Jenny is, "You're not gonna like what the tall man's going to do to you.
If you go about it the wrong way," she says.
If you go about it the wrong way, yes. So,
if you tell, or something like, if you tell anybody about this or whatever, then when he comes, you won't like it. Just wait for him to come. He will come and get you when the time comes. Yeah. I gave him your name, I gave him your address, blah, blah, blah.
And he will come for you.
Yep. So, here's the rest of the spoiler. So, how we find out that Jessica's character, Julia, is a part of working with the tall man. We know that Jessica appears to act alone, but she really isn't working alone. She takes the fall for the tall man and says she's the tall man, and she's the one that's taking all the kids, and all the kids are dead, which clearly, as Paul just stated, they are not by the end of the film.
That's because, too, when the town folks are going after her...
Yeah.
We're just adding real quick that we later learned, too, that when she was trying to take David down into the basement, that's all we saw. We just saw her just take David down there.
We didn't see what happened to him.
We did not see anything what happened. But when the police went down there, okay, so imagine you built a house on top of an old mine. Old mine shaft.
A lot of hiding places.
Not just hiding place, but lot of different exits to escape from and enter. And as far as we know, there could have been 3 exits or entrances, but we only seen one specific enter, exit, however you want us to look at it, which collides with the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, which actually is introduced in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so it's like a runaway tunnel, like an escape tunnel.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm just letting them know.
All right, so since Paul explained that, you know how, so after Jessica's character is detained, she takes the fall, blah blah blah, and she refuses to give them any other story but the fact that she's the tall man. Lo and behold, the night comes, Jenny gets taken by the tall man. Jessica's character, Julia, is incarcerated in prison, so we know it isn't her.
No.
So the tall man comes and takes Jenny far, far away, hides her in their vehicle underneath the secret compartment in the seat in the car. Takes her far, far away to a place in a city. I forget the name of the city.
Anyway, where the other kid went, basically.
Yeah, basically. But anyways, so it comes time for Jenny to get rehomed or adopted. The tall man goes to make the exchange with a rich woman, or a much wealthier woman.
But here's the catch: the tall man got paid heavily by Jessica to specifically take Jenny to this particular person. It sounded like, really, or at least it was paid enough to take Jenny away because of the fact that he was paid a high amount while taking the fall.
Well, actually, the way that he worded it, because the wealthy woman, which I was trying to explain, the wealthy woman tried to pay the tall man for the adoption, the exchange of Jenny. He refused to take the money because, in his words, he said, the person that was responsible for that gave Jenny to me paid a higher price, and I can't accept your money. And she tried to give it to him anyways, and he's like, really, I cannot accept it. So the tall man emerges from the shadows. It's Julia's husband.
Dun dun dun.
So the reason why he wouldn't take the money is because of the fact that his wife paid the highest price with her freedom for Jenny and the other kids to get away.
And it wasn't just her freedom, it was her life as well.
Yep, her life, like protecting her husband. This woman really loved her husband. She was willing to defend him to the end, protect him, made it like he was just gone, a ghost. Like he had nothing to do with it.
Basically, what we learned throughout the film as well is that the husband and wife here with Jessica and her husband, they fell off track with each other because Jessica could not produce children for him to start their own family.
Yeah, she lost herself because she couldn't bear children for her and her husband.
So
they separated and found another way of doing things.
Which was this way. So if you look at it, this was the only way Jessica and her husband could actually see each other, is by kidnapping a child.
Which they're in their mind, they're fostering these kids temporarily until they can do the exchange to give them off to one another, pass them off to each other to rehome these kids.
Because they want to make other children's lives better than what they currently had.
So, yes, the townspeople made Julia's character appear to be a monster. But in all fairness, was she really?
No.
She took these children that came from broken, fucked up homes with no chance, no hope left. And she, gives them a better chance, a second chance at life, a better hope.
So I want to go back real quick to these one stars again, just to clarify even more. So, what I want to say to you all those fucking peckerheads that do the one star review on the Tall Man trying to say this is a horrible thing, no, it is not. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we only see Jenny's new home. Yes, she was chosen by a wealthy lady, but you know what? We do not know what the other 6 children got. For all we know, they got an average family that wanted to adopt. So,
or was unable to have kids.
Or weren't able to have kids. So all you fucking idiots that they poor children deserve their family. Yes, you're damn right.
Misinformed.
But if you're getting brought up by abusive shit who is homeless, cannot take care of your own children by showing them love, only abuse, addicts, you don't
deserve your children.
You don't deserve it. You do not deserve it. And like what was the kid David? When Jenny sees David and he sees her, we see the new mother. We have no idea what they are. We don't know if they're rich. We don't know if they're an average person. Hell, we don't even know if they're almost like 50-50 like Tessa and I. And I'm only saying that because we're going to be having a daughter soon. And maybe even by the time this episode comes out, maybe our daughter is in this world. But you know what? We aren't necessarily poor, but in a way, we're definitely could be living in the next poverty area of low income because look at the world nowadays, But the way we look at it is Tessa and I are going to do everything for our daughter first because we want to make sure that she had the life she deserves and not a broken fucking home that is abusive or anything.
We want to give our daughter a stable, healthy family. And we're going to work together to give her that because she needs both of us.
And we do not want to set to be an example just like Steven and Tracy.
Yeah.
Because that is the definition of a broken, abusive family.
Or some of these other, families in this film.
Who are addicts, who are, alcoholics. They don't give a shit about their kids.
Or they don't give a shit about each other enough to work it out, to take care of their kids together.
Look at all the time we see Jenny trying to stick up for, I forget who it is. It was Tracy, I think. Because, Jenny jumped on Steve's back to try to defend the other sister. And what happened? Steve froze her on the ground and almost tried to beat her. She's like, get off me, you punk.
And then Tracy, who's Jenny's mother, actually turns around and,
she only does it.
For a split second, says, don't ever touch her again, I will kill you. But as soon as Jenny's out of view... That's it. Tracy and Steven go to, laughing at each other, trying to reconcile between themselves and just...
It's just fucked up.
Yeah, they try to kind of wipe it off like it never happened. Try to forget it ever happened.
That's a bad example. That's all this movie is trying to say. I mean, everybody is guilty of something. Everybody is, hiding something, whether it be an addiction, broken home, abusive parents, whatever. But that's what this movie is trying to spotlight is by saying this, and I'm just going to say this once. For those that are listening, which probably won't be because I already called you out 5 times already, but let's do it again if you guys are. For you people that are listening right now, you need to ask yourself this fucking question, and that is, am I an abusive parent? Am I an addict?
Do I neglect my children?
Do I live in a broken household? do I not show the love and give the support to my child as much as I should?
Or my family, for that matter, as much as I should. Because it takes a family working together, giving love to the family to make the family work. You can't just, pick and choose who you want to love in the family or who you want to give attention to and when to give it and stuff like that, because that in itself is neglect.
And that is where I think that this episode is, are you worth having your kid? That's what the Tall Man is about. The Tall Man is about bringing your fucked up family away, taking your kids away, and you know what? We see a perfect example, too. Actually, two examples. So, let's start with the most known one, and that is Steven. Steven, once again, has another kid with the sister, I believe.
Yeah, he's in a relationship with Tracy, but has a kid with Tracy's sister Christine on the side, and they're all living in the same household together.
But what's different this time? Steve seemed to be
more focused on Christine and the baby than
this time
Tracy.
Around. Yep.
Than Tracy.
Than this one, yes.
Yeah.
And then the second time now, we see Tracy. Tracy. Tracy with Jenny's mom.
Yep.
So this time, we actually see Tracy actually given a fucking thought about Jenny. All because Jenny is no longer there.
Yeah, Jenny's gone.
Since Jenny is gone, that's all Tracy cares about now. It's finding her daughter.
When she couldn't even give
two
shits
there.
When she was there. She cared more about her existence when Jenny was already gone.
So once again, I say it again. Are you worthy of having your kid with you? Do you give them the life that you need? Or in this case, what, babe? The tall man.
Or does the tall man need to come
and bring your children to a better household? I'm Paul Dolsky.
And I'm Tessa Baker.
And we want you to
stay scary.